Did you know that Bluey and Peppa can exist within the same universe?
Wow!
From appearances in other cartoons to visiting the same places, there's a lot that connects the little pink pig with the little blue dog.
Wow!
And the first of these is the most obvious of all, because Peppa, as you know, is an extremely well-traveled little pig. She has already been to France, to Italy, to the United States, to the North Pole, and of course to Australia. That's where her friend Kylie Kangaroo lives. But do you know who else lives there in the land of giant insects and kangaroos?
Bluey!
Exactly, my people, Bluey. In Peppa's show, it's not exactly clear which part of Australia Peppa visits, but we do know that there's a beach, something Bluey has already visited too. But we know that Bluey lives in the city of Brisbane, which is a real place that exists in our world, so the two of them could probably be in the same city. Does that mean that if Peppa and Bluey live in the same universe, they also exist in our world? Look, my instinct is to say no, but these aren't the only similarities Bluey and Peppa share, because besides even having ants who disappear for years, both Peppa and Bluey have already appeared in other cartoons, and Peppa herself has even appeared in the real world. So get your best conspiracy theories ready and let's explore all the things Bluey and Peppa have in common, now on Zigzag. One of the strangest connections I noticed in both cartoons is the fact that Peppa's and Bluey's aunts went through the same problem, taking way too long to visit their nieces and nephews. If you remember well, Peppa has Aunt Dottie, who only visited Peppa and George for the first time after 4 years. She met Peppa when she was a baby, but of course the little pig was too young to remember that. But for us who were watching, Aunt Dottie took 20 years to show up, and something very similar happened with Bluey's aunt, Aunt Brandy. Over in Bluey, Aunt Brandy also took 4 years to appear for the first time to her nieces, but her reason was much deeper and sadder. Seeing her nieces made her sad, because she felt jealous of Chili because she had children, and Brandy didn't. It must be a mix of very contradictory feelings, being happy to have nieces, but at the same time feeling jealous of your own sister, don't you think? But there are other similarities between the shows besides these, and the next ones will go beyond the limits of each series and show impressive crossovers and Easter eggs. If we're collecting proof that Peppa and Bluey live in the same universe, then hold this one. There is an official case, recorded in a Hollywood movie, that suggests that Peppa exists in the real world. And it's not fanfic, no. It's Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, that movie where cartoons exist and are like real-life actors. In the movie, we meet Ellie, a detective who's kind of discredited because she made a serious mistake in the past. And what was the mistake? She says that the previous year, Peppa Pig disappeared, and she trusted a false anonymous tip. This made the police invade the Nick Jr. studio. And then things got ugly. The Paw Patrol reacted as if they were an elite squad and opened fire on the officers. One of the agents she mentions took a shot right in the family jewels, let's put it that way. Enough to prove that this universe where cartoons are actors is not safe at all. And here comes the delicious part of this theory. If Peppa disappeared, it means she not only exists, but has a police record, is possibly on the run, and even better, may have dangerous connections. In my completely responsible mind based on zero evidence, the Paw Patrol is practically an animated militia hired by Peppa to give her cover while she fled from Interpol after that episode where Daddy Pig and George almost turned into roasted chicken in the Robo-Chicken case. If in Chip and Dale's world, Peppa is an international criminal, that only reinforces that she hangs around the same spaces as other famous TV characters. And guess who else has been socializing in another super famous cartoon? Yes, Bluey. And this next connection is mind-blowing. But first, I need your help to unravel this mystery. Drop the hashtag Peppaverse in the comments to give that support. If we are putting together a dossier of proof that Bluey and Peppa live in the same universe, then write this down. Bluey has already appeared twice on The Simpsons. Yes, The Simpsons, the most crossover-heavy cartoon in history, finally crossed paths with the blue puppy. And it wasn't by accident, no. The first appearance was in a Disney Plus short. There's a VIP party at Moe's Bar for the streaming service's 2-year anniversary. Homer tries to get in, but Maleficent blocks him. Before she even speaks, the guest list pops up. And among the names, Bluey. She doesn't actually show up, of course. Chili and Bandit would never let a child enter a bar like that, thankfully. The second time is in the episode where Marge travels with the Disney moms to an entire planet made of amusement park. On the way, through the ship's window, you can see Bingo and Chili next to characters from 101 Dalmatians. And in the end, when Marge throws a backyard party to apologize for the chaos she caused, Bluey and Bingo appear in the middle of the crowd of Disney guests. It's a strange and, at the same time, perfect feeling. Seeing Bluey wandering around the Simpsons universe, as if she were just catching an interdimensional bus to visit friends. Her presence there reinforces the idea that animations coexist in layers, and Bluey has already infiltrated the most chaotic one of all. And then comes the inevitable question. If Bluey has already shown up on The Simpsons, has Peppa already appeared in the rival cartoon? The next piece of evidence will make that very clear. We've now reached the most insane reference of all, the one nobody imagined they wanted, but Family Guy delivered anyway. Yes, we're talking about the adult series where absolutely nothing makes sense, including the fact that Joe Swanson ended up at the pig's house. In the episode from season 18, Joe needs to investigate a completely crazy case involving a teenage girl who faked her own death using the body of a pig. That's right, they put a blonde wig on a pig and pushed the car into an accident to frame Lois. And in the middle of the investigation, Joe comments that he had to make the strangest house call of his career to give the news to the victim's relatives. And then comes the part that matters for our multiverse theory. In the final scene, Joe climbs a very familiar hill, knocks on the door, and who shows up? Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig. In other words, the joke only exists because inside that world, Peppa is a real citizen, and technically, missing. If even Family Guy, which makes fun of everything, treated the pigs as part of the same universe, then our hunt for evidence is becoming more and more convincing. Was this what happened to Peppa after she disappeared with the help of the Paw Patrol? That I can't answer, but I can talk about something else involving little dogs. Want to know more about Bluey in the real world? Then take the opportunity and subscribe to the channel too, so you never miss any updates. On Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Fallon plays a tough guy host who says he hasn't cried in 77 years, except when he watches Bluey. He says that if you don't cry with the show, you're not a real man. And then he and Justin Timberlake start singing a song in honor of the cartoon. And the best part? This isn't just a scripted joke. Jimmy Fallon has actually talked about Bluey on his own show, saying how much he loves the cartoon, even interviewing the actors who voice Bandit and Chili. In the end, the message is clear. Bluey is so real that it has already become a cultural reference outside of TV, and so emotional that even celebrities break down crying. In the end, Bluey and Peppa have already crossed so many worlds, so many screens, and so many hearts that it's hard to believe they don't share the same universe. If even real people cry because of these two, imagine the emotional damage they would cause if they actually met. The truth is simple. No matter the multiverse, these two have been living in ours the whole time.